Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 2 of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host. This is Christian Temple, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chief fanatic, and I am joined tonight once again by my good friend, the terrible towel-twirling Trajan. How are you doing this evening, my friend?
Doing great. I'm excited to get back into our week 2. It's exciting to say that.
Right? Never thought we'd get this far. Very exciting week. You're 1-0 after the Hall of Fame game. Even though it is preseason, come on, it's football. It's always fun to win in the National Football League.
Oh yeah, no, it's good to kind of get a head start. We got an extra game compared to everyone else. So I mean, build up on that, especially after last year when no teams really got that much of a start together until the regular season.
It's definitely a welcome change and a welcome back to having preseason games to be able to watch on TV and let the coaches get a chance to evaluate players in real time. And we answered the question that everybody needed to know: who is the better backup? Is it Ben DiNucci or is it Mason Rudolph? We finally got to answer that question. If we didn't learn anything from the preseason game. And speaking of which, we will switch over to it now. Starting off obviously with the Steelers side, obviously the final score 16-3, Pittsburgh over Dallas. We're showing Mason Rudolph 6 of 9 with 84 yards, no TDs, no interceptions. Dwayne Haskins also making an appearance there, only 54 yards passing there, and Joshua Dobbs with the only passing touchdown for the Steelers that night. Obviously, Big Ben riding the sideline as the smart team would have done. Trajan, what were your thoughts of the quarterback play for your second stringers?
Well, I kind of liked all of what they were doing there. I mean, obviously Dwayne Haskins and Rudolph, they didn't score any touchdowns, but they made some big bombs, especially that one to Claypool there where he kind of got up a little gimpy from losing his breath or whatever it was.
I could hear it from Heinz Field, everyone holding their breath.
Oh, yeah, I was just like, just our luck. Claypool gets injured in a preseason game that doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely getting hot there on the QB battle. Dobbs is probably on the hottest seat. I mean, you got Rudolph, who started for us when Big Ben was out, so he kind of already has that expertise in there. He knows a little bit more of the playbook in a game situation. And then you got Dwayne Haskins, which we're kind of excited that we were able to pick up a first-round pick. But I think he probably did the best out of them. I mean, I'm no way a QB scouter who knows all of the attributes, but I was really impressed with what I saw with Dobbs.
I'd have to agree. None of them looked bad, and in a preseason game, you can look absolutely horrible, and no one's going to care because it's exactly that. It's just preseason and all that. These players, these defensive players, even though they're second and third stringers, they're trying their best. They're going to take everything they can get, and obviously the one major turnover was, of course, the Chase Claypool fumble. But I mean, besides that, it didn't really affect anything. Speaking of Chase Claypool, he was the leading receiver for the Steelers with 3 receptions with 62 yards. With 4 targets total. As you mentioned, that big bomb too was the best passing play of the night. Moving on from him, though, obviously the big story was the debut of Najee Harris at running back. Although he only had 7 carries for only 22 yards, I mean, behind a new offensive line and a very young offensive line, what did you see from him that really impressed you?
Well, don't forget that one pass for 3 yards. Huge stat
can't forget that, absolutely.
But no, I liked what he did. Tomlin kind of, in his recap of the game, kind of said it best. I mean, he did what he expected to happen. He wasn't expecting anything great. He wanted routine plays done routinely. He fell forward when he needed to pick up that extra yard. He did a really good job of blocking. And that's a huge thing, especially since we have an old quarterback that can't run. So yeah, no, I think overall, I mean, first time suiting up against another team in the NFL, I can't complain, especially since it was only first part of the first half. So
it would appear he may have some help too, with in the form of Jalen Samuels and Kalen Ballage as well too. Ballage looked actually, even though he only got 5 carries, I thought I saw something very positive through him as well.
Oh yeah, no, he's been in the league for a little bit. And he kind of got that reputation of a short yardage pickup, which we need. I mean, we need someone that can go in 4th and 1. We're on the goal line, punch it in. If he keeps on doing that, he can get paid.
And moving on from the sublime to the ridiculous, what is your thoughts of the brand new kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I mean, he got one.
Obviously, we're talking about Sam Sloman here too. 1 of 2
Yeah.
for field goals. Although the one he
Yeah.
made was 48 yards, very impressive, and
It
one
was.
1 for 2 on extra points as well too. Of course, we can't just give him all of the blame here too. The Cowboys kicker wasn't that much more impressive either,
gosh.
honestly. So it was not a good kicking game. All in all, for that, but we had to bring that up too. The kickers strike early in the preseason here. We shall see whose kicking woes will continue into the regular season.
I
But
just hope it was jitters.
exactly. But with that being said, obviously 16-3 was the final. A lot of familiar faces in the Hall of Fame class, especially on the Pittsburgh Steelers side.
Oh yeah, 5 of them. I mean, obviously, Donnie Shell is one of them. I believe he was nominated last year, but COVID and everything like that.
They did announce the 2020/2021 inductees, which I thought was pretty cool. Let them all have their stage, give them the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, so we had Bill Cowher,
Yep.
Troy Polamalu, Donnie Shell, Bill Nunn, and Alan Fenica. So, I mean, it is really awesome that Bill Nunn is in there. For those that don't know, he was a scouter. He was really the first person who gave these African Americans a chance from these historically black colleges into the NFL. So it was really good for there. I mean, he signed tons of players that went on to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Stallworth, Bill Nunn, all these players are now in there. And then Alan Fenica, offensive lineman there, played guard. He also played some tackle. So it's kind of cool. Of course, Troy Polamalu, everyone loves his hair. Even I believe Patrick Mahomes is a little jealous of
it. you of course referring to those Head and Shoulders commercials, which I always get a kick out of too. It's always a good time watching those as well too. All right, well, moving on from the Hall of Fame game, moving on to some Chiefs news here too. Unfortunately, we found out recently that returning Laurent Duvernay-Tardif out 4 to 6 weeks with a broken bone in his hand. Although it would have been 10 to 12 weeks, but fortunately, he's a doctor.
That he is.
I figured you'd get a kick out of that. Yeah, it's one of those deals. I mean, obviously we had a little bit of trouble with Kyle Long too coming into. He re-injured. I don't remember if it was his ankle or something in his leg, but he should be cleared for Week 1. The hope is that Duvernay-Tardif is also cleared for Week 1, which is awesome. I am really curious to see who Reed is going to put in on the first line for the game upcoming against the San Francisco 49ers, because we obviously just got Orlando Brown, we just got Joe Thuney, we drafted Creed Humphreys. I'm willing to bet he will be there, and we picked up Austin Blythe from the Los Angeles Rams. So this is gonna really test them, considering that Long and Tardif will be out at the same time throughout preseason. So, but at the same time, that's the way it goes. This will really test how deep this new improved offensive line really is for Kansas City, and I'm excited to see how they look.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely there's high hopes on your offensive line right now. That's a setback, but luckily your quarterback we know can run.
He does very, very well for that. And that's another note too. I've watched training camp too, and there seems to be no sign of that turf toe, so I'm happy that surgery went very, very well for him too.
I forgot, actually, he was struggling with that, but yeah, no.
Yep, that was something that was bothering him throughout the playoffs too, but he powered through it and almost got a second consecutive Super Bowl, but it is what it is. And speaking of Patrick Mahomes, some exciting news coming to our hometown of Wichita, Kansas, Whataburger.
About time.
One of my favorite restaurants. And so, a little quick story too. Obviously, I mentioned I'm a professional wrestler. I wrestle all across the Midwest. My tag team partner, the massive legend Justin Gray, and we wrestle quite a bit in Oklahoma City. for Empire Pro Wrestling. And the one thing we always do when we're coming back from the show, and usually my dad is riding with us, is we stop by Whataburger every single time. We always get our food there on the way back. And the reason I hold them such high regard is because every restaurant, at least once, has messed up my order. I cannot think of a single time where Whataburger has messed up my order. I'm very picky about what I eat, and they get it right every single time. So I am super pumped that it's finally coming to Wichita.
Oh yeah, no. Bring in some more fast food here.
Absolutely. Can't go wrong with that. Alrighty. Speaking of new things, the Whataburger is a good new thing, but a bad new thing, at least in my opinion. The rules are changing again, it seems, Mr. Trajan, because now taunting is going to be a thing of scrutiny in the NFL upcoming.
Oh yeah, I mean, the NFL is cracking down on all these, and I mean, you can go through kind of the big things that they changed, but it's getting to where, I mean, you can't talk about someone's mama when you just smacked them.
That's what happened to the good old days where we talk about someone's mama like that on the field. No, it's supposed to be a respectful game. I get that too. You know, they're all putting their bodies, they're putting their lives on the line for our entertainment and all that. Obviously, I figured that last year when they brought back the fact that you can't use, what was it? You can't use the football as a prop. You can't use the cones. You can't use the goalpost and all that too. I figured that was going to be the extent of it, but no. It appears that now they're going even further. They're really going to pay attention to any taunting, and not only that, but it seems like if you get it twice in the same game, then you are automatically sent off with fines and suspensions also in play, they say. So this was part of their annual rule change. Well, now the question becomes, what would necessarily constitute taunting? Would it be celebrating after a sack? Or would it be a traditional pose, like obviously Tyreek Hill does the peace sign? What is this going to lead to? Is this a slippery slope that we're sliding upon?
Well, I think anytime you're wearing red and yellow, it's about that. You can definitely expect that coming here.
Absolutely, right? We'll look the other way while passing the other. Will that be considered a taunt?
Unnecessary show of skill.
Exactly, just showboating. Showboating will be a form of taunting before too long. This is where we're going, folks.
Yeah.
Kids these days, they're so soft they can't handle a little taunting. No, I understand where they're coming from on that. I guess obviously the swearing and flipping each other off on the field and all that too. I mean that really needs to be looked upon too. I mean, but at the same time, the simple stuff, man, it's going to be so interesting, and it's going to be ticky tacky too. You just know it's going to be. Yeah. They're going to call something for one team and not for the other, but it won't be in the same game. It's going to be like hours apart. Like in the noon game, someone did something and got called, and then later that night, the Sunday night football game, nothing got called, and that's gonna stir up some controversy. And I guess we're just gonna have to see how that goes.
Yeah. No, I mean, one thing we know for sure. I mean, dirty players like on a certain black and silver team will always get called out for it. Life is good.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for Sean Payton to get thrown out again too, because he seems to be always on everybody's list for those kind of penalties, especially when it comes to dealing with referees and all that.
And what do you expect for someone from Bounty Gate?
Exactly, 100%, 100% there. So. I'll laugh so hard if Jameis Winston rushes or throws a touchdown and starts doing the eating the W taunt, and he gets flagged for it.
Oh my goodness, that's one I'd like to see.
That would be the time where I would. I don't like showing clips of NFL because I don't want to get copyright too. I wouldn't care. I would show that clip all over our video. That would be the background of our episode that week if that happened.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Obviously, Pittsburgh has already played one game. They will play this coming Thursday at 6:30 p.m. against their in-state rival, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. We do not have a good history with the Eagles. So, I mean, we seem to always lose at their stadium for whatever reason. But it's preseason, so, I mean, we're coming off with one game under our belt. This is their true opener. So
They played last season, correct, in the regular season?
I believe so. I mean, I think we did, and it was at Steelers.
It was at Steelers. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, yep. Last meeting, October. I didn't even look at. I was looking at the top part of the screen. I didn't even see right there. Last meeting, Eagles and Pittsburgh, in October 10th, 2020.
Yep. So
right.
yeah, no, when it's at Heinz Field, we do good. It's there, we don't do good.
Sticking on the part of the Steelers, it seems there may be a little bit of trouble in paradise regarding a certain T.J. Watt.
Yeah, I mean he wants his contract extension, so right now he's playing into his fifth. Next year will be his 5th-year option. He wants that big deal. I get it. I mean, honestly, he got stolen. They stole the Defensive Player of the Year award away from him last year, but the guys in his league are getting paid almost $30 million a year, and he is scheduled for $10.09 million for his 5th-year option. So,
correct.
I mean, they'll get it done. I understand why he's setting out in the actual playing of the practice because, I mean, you don't want to get injured going into a contract negotiation. So I think they'll get it done. Steelers, they do not negotiate during the season. So if it doesn't get done now, it won't get done this year until next end of the season.
Could you see him leaving if he is not happy with this and going somewhere else?
I don't. I mean, obviously we know with what we got with T.J. Watt. I mean, 15 sacks last year. He pulls all the pressure onto his side of the field, so players on the other side can make some plays. So I think they're going to get it done. It's just a matter of time, and we're not going to let a player like T.J. Watt walk.
What about Derek Watt? Will he be walking?
I mean, the fullbacks don't get used that much.
I hear that. All right. And moving on to Kansas City's first preseason game this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 54, the Chiefs versus the 49ers. Obviously, without Jimmy G. Well, actually, Jimmy G may play. We may see that, but it won't be Patrick Mahomes versus Jimmy G. It will be Jimmy G versus most likely Chad Henning and Shane Buechele as well. But we will definitely see the debut of Trey Lance this week as well, and that'll be very interesting. Obviously, the 49ers, I believe that was their 3rd-round pick that they used to pick him up, or third or fourth, one of the two, coming from North Dakota State. So it'll be interesting to see how he does in this new atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, going back to what you said about Jimmy Garoppolo, what better way of knowing that you're not the star player as you might play in a preseason game, especially week 1.
Exactly, be outshined by a high-end draft pick as well too, and it seems like the sky could be the limit for Trey Lance here. But obviously for Jimmy G, I'm sure he knows his job is very much at stake here too, and I'm sure Kyle Shanahan has let him know that. But moving on to the other side of things here too, I am excited to test out this brand new offensive line here. I'm certain we'll see Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey. We may see Jerron Reed on the other side of things as well too, with Chris Jones maybe making the opening drive start just to test out his new position being a defensive end instead of being a defensive tackle. That's going to be very interesting. Obviously, 2nd-round addition Nick Bolton at linebacker too. I'm excited to see how he progresses, and yeah, first game since February for Kansas City, and even though it's preseason, we've said it before, it's always a good time, and we're always super excited to do it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, see what we got, and then hopefully be hyped up for the regular season.
Absolutely. All right. Well, moving back to the main screen here too. This is a very short episode today. We've just now hit the 20-minute mark here. So, but any clothing? Excuse me. Any clothing? You've got some clothing on. Thank God for that. Any closing?
I can take it off.
Any closing thoughts tonight, Trajan? Obviously, Hall of Fame game. It was fun to see some faces of the past and see some faces of the future for your franchise.
Oh yeah, I mean, Steelers have such a legacy there of success that, I mean, these players want to live up to that reputation. So, no, I'm excited to see maybe some future Hall of Fame careers started this season. So,
like Kellen Bellamy and Mason Rudolph, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was thinking more along the lines of Najee and T.J. Watt, but definitely.
It'll be very interesting to watch Najee progress during the regular season, and obviously T.J. Watt he's a wrecking ball of a human being too. So that's the one player, especially December 26th. I'm nervous about us protecting, but if this new offensive line can prove anything, it would be shutting down a very stout defense like Pittsburgh, especially that late in the season too. So we're super excited about that. We will be back next week. Next Thursday, I believe, we'll have our next episode out here too. Thank you again so much for watching. The first episode, we had a lot of fun. We definitely had a lot of fun with this next episode. We hope you are enjoying this episodes too. Definitely, please leave a like, leave a comment if you have any. If you have anything you think we can do to improve the show, we're just starting out too. So any tech savvy people out there that knows how we can make things better, we are all ears. We want to learn, we want to get better, and we want to have a good time. That's what football is all about, and that's what this show is all about. So once again, thank you everyone so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video, click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Please tell all your friends about us. And man, preseason doesn't get any better than this. Regular season, it's going to get even better. Thank you guys so much. This is Temple and Trajan signing off.